Alright, here's a tune I've had quite a few requests to do. It's called Military 5-String. And this appeared on Don Reno's solo album, Mr. 5-String, Don Reno and his Tennessee Cut-Ups. And I know I always say this, but this really is one of Don Reno's best albums he ever did. His banjo playing is incredible on this. And I'll probably do a few more tunes off this particular album eventually, but I thought I'd start with Military 5-String since I've had quite a few requests to do it, and the 4th of July just passed, so I thought it seemed fitting to start with this tune. So let's get started with it. We're going to start here on your 12th fret, and we're going to do some harmonics. So we're going to start on your 4th string. Okay. I'm just hitting the 4th string, coming down to the 3rd, to the 2nd, and then we're going to roll backwards and start it over on the 4th. Okay, pretty simple. I'm sure you probably have already done something like that, maybe close to bugle call rag. It's very similar, but that's all we're doing there. Alright, so from that point we're going to start right into the tune here, and we're going to roll forward on the 5th, 2nd, and 1st strings. And the trick to this tune is the first part here, we're just going to do, it's kind of like a gallop, like a little hop or a gallop I would call it. It's a forward roll, but it's more like a galloping type sound. So it sounds like this. See what I mean? It sounds like a horse galloping. Alright, and that's just a forward roll on your 5th, 2nd, and 1st string. Like that. So I'm rolling forward to begin with on the 5th, 2nd, and 1st. And then I'm grabbing this 1st fret on the 2nd string and pinching the 1st and 2nd strings together. So... and then I'm going to pinch those again and slide up to the 3rd fret on your 2nd string. So, and then we go right into that forward roll, that galloping roll. Alright, so we're just going to do that. You hold down your finger on the 3rd fret on the 2nd string and keep that gallop going. And then we're going to pinch the 5th string, and we're going to note the 5th fret on your 1st string and pinch those together. So alright, and then we pinch it, the 5th and 1st together, open. So alright, and then we're going to do the same thing again. This is all G, so now we're going to move into D chord. And we're going to do it the same way we got into the beginning. So we're going to slide into that 3rd fret again from the 1st. So still doing that gallop. We're in D at this point. Then we're going to do this D 7th shape, if you can see that there. This is basically like your C 7th. We're going to leave the 1st string open. This is kind of like Tennessee Cut-Up Breakdown. Same position there. So this is a D 7th, and we're going to leave that 1st string open. So, and what we're doing is we're just hitting those melody notes. So we're holding this position down, 5th fret on the 3rd string, 3rd fret on the 2nd string, and the 4th fret on the 4th string. So so that first part will sound like this. Now when I'm hitting those melody notes, I'm hitting the 5th string in between that. And that's going to be a common thing in this tune. I'll show you later when we get to the C chord. But he's hitting the 5th string. It's kind of like a hop. It's almost like a 2-finger, old style 2-finger deal there. So So that note right out of your D7th position. Alright. So we'll do that again. So we go through that, we come out of the D, and we're going to do it again. Alright. So at this point we're going to go into a C chord. What we're going to do is we're going to walk down on the first string from your 5th fret to the 4th to the 3rd. So, alright, we're basically walking to a 7th note there on your 3rd fret. So, and then we're going to come over and grab this barred C chord on your 5th fret. And you're going to want to do it with all 3 fingers instead of putting your finger across. You could do it, but it's easier for me to do it with all 3 because we're going to do a little hammer or pull off actually, or hammer on. I think it's a hammer on. Onto the 5th fret on your 2nd string. So I'll show that to you here when we get there, but you want to kind of get your fingers in that position because we're going to need to drop your finger back to the 3rd fret on your 2nd string to get that hammer on. So alright, and I'm just walking that first string with my middle finger on my right hand, and then we're going to come right to this 5th fret C chord, and we're going to hit that 2nd string on the 5th fret. That's your melody note. I'll show you the melody notes before we put any roll or anything to it. These are just the basic melody notes that you're going to want to hear. Alright, and all that is right out of that C chord. That's 2nd string, 3rd string, 2nd string. Alright. Alright, so and that's why I told you we would do a little hammer on there. So when we hit that, let's see, 3rd melody note. Alright, I'm hammering on from the 3rd fret to the 5th fret on that note there. So back to your G chord. Alright, so we're doing this partial G chord right out of your F shape, G. I'm pinching the first 2 strings together, your 1st and 2nd strings. Alright, and then we're going to do that rolling forward that Don likes to do and pulling off at the same time. So alright, do that pinch that we came out of. So I'm pinching and then I'm rolling forward and pulling off the 5th fret to the 3rd fret. So like that. It's a little tricky. Alright, so I'm pulling off and then I'm grabbing the 4th fret on the 3rd string back to the 3rd fret on the 2nd string. So you get that melody note. That's basically all I'm doing. And it's a little odd here. We're not really doing a roll when we get to the C chord. We're doing that 2-finger, that old style 2-finger hop kind of a thing. We're just hitting the melody notes and hitting the 5th string in between. So, see? I'm not really rolling, I'm just hitting the note with either my index or my middle or whatever, and I'm hitting the 5th string in between the notes. So, alright, so we do that again, and then we're going to go into we go back to G there, and then we're going to go into your D chord. And this is your basic double stop walk down that Don does a lot. So we're just doing a partial G chord out of your F shape on the 4th and 3rd frets. So it would be your 4th fret on your 3rd string and your 3rd fret on your 2nd string. And you want to put your hand on the back of your bridge to mute it a little bit. Alright, and that's basically what we're doing, is walking from a G to a D7th. That's your D7th chord. right, so that whole C part would sound like this. So then we're going to go right into the first part again, how we started it. All right. So now we're going to change it. It goes into a different tune here, because this is a military medley. So this is the second part. It's very similar to the first part, but it's not. It's a different tune. All right. So what I'm doing is I'm walking from the 4th fret to the 5th to your 3rd fret on your 2nd string, and we're going to do that same rolling forward. So we're rolling forward, but we're going to pull off on the 5th fret at the same time. So and every time we pull off, we're going to come back to the 4th fret on the 3rd string to get that melody note. This is what the melody we're doing. Okay, so when you add that little roll to it, I like to slide into that sometimes instead of just going from your 4th to your 5th to get into it. So I like to slide into it. You pinch the 1st and 3rd strings together like that. So you play it differently every time, however you want to do it. There's no set way to do it. I'm just going to give you the basics of it. But I like to slide into there a lot of times. Sometimes I'll start it with the... Gives it a little punch, a little dramatic effect, I guess, but that's the basic thing you're doing is you're just rolling forward, pulling off on that 5th fret, holding down the 3rd fret behind it. So then we're walking back on the 4th to 5th, and it goes to a D here. This is what we're changing keys, so if you have a guitar player playing with you, that's what you would be doing. Was this is all G. D, G. Okay, the chords to this tune are very easy, but so we're going back to that same D 7th position we did during the first part, and we're just going to roll forward. And you want to come down and get that melody note on your 3rd string, or your 3rd fret on the 2nd string, sorry. So I'll play that slow. I'm actually bringing my thumb down to the 3rd fret, or 3rd fret on the 2nd string. So I'm bringing my thumb down to the 2nd string to get that, the melody note there. So that makes sense. Let me play that a little slower so you can see my right hand there. So we're really not doing anything hard at all at this point. It's just you're playing right out of that D7th shape. Okay. All right. So from this point, we're going to go up here to your D-shaped G chord. And so we play that, let's see, we play that twice. All right, so yeah, we play that twice like that. And then we're going to slide up here to your D position G. So you want to slide into that. We're sliding up to the 7th fret on your 3rd string. We're going to be playing right out of this D-shaped G, and then to your 9th fret on your 3rd string. You can hammer on that if you want to on the 8th fret on your 2nd string. So, and you can roll forward on the 5th, 2nd, and 1st once you get to that 9th fret or 8th fret on the 2nd string. Sorry. All right, and you can hold down your G on the 1st and 2nd strings, the full. So, if you want to. I don't think Don is. I'll have to go back and listen to it. I've played it for so many years. I've mixed it up so much, but I like it better without holding the G or the full G on the 2nd and 1st strings. Your 9th fret on your 1st string. So I keep the 1st string open, and I think he's probably doing that. Don loved to use that 1st string open like that. So however you want to do it, it's not really wrong. So I'm just rolling forward on the 5th, 2nd, and 1st, and then back to the 7th fret on your 3rd string to get that melody note. So what you're doing is, all right, and then, so this is all G, so now we're going to go to C chord really quick. The guitar player would play it. We're not even going to play a C chord, but the guitar player would. So right there. So all I'm doing is the same notes we did before. Walking up from the 9th fret on your 3rd string to your 7th fret on your 2nd to your 8th fret. All right. So you're still rolling forward. You come out of that quick C. Now we're going to do the full G on your 1st and 2nd strings out of that D-shaped G. And we're going to hammer on from the 7th to the 8th fret. Just a Foggy Mountain breakdown roll, but it's not the way Earl does it. This is Don Reno's Foggy Mountain breakdown. So we're hammering on twice. Your index finger's hitting the string twice. Okay. And then it's going to go to A. And we're going to do the A chord here, your D-shaped A. But we're not really going to hit anything in that chord except for on the 3rd string. So we're doing... I'm really just pausing right on that A. That note right out of your A chord. So... and we're walking from A to D, so that would be your 9th fret on your 3rd string to your 11th fret. Alright, to your 12th fret, so we're at D at this point. I may be hitting the passing 5th string note in there on the A. Yeah, I'm probably pausing on that and then walking up on the 11th to 12th. And even though, like I said, you're not doing an full A chord, I always like to keep my bearings where I am. Like I know that the tune's going to A, so I'll do an A chord even if I'm not doing the whole, I'm hitting anything else in that chord. I like to do the chord. That's a good practice to get into, I think. So, see, I'm not hitting anything else except that note in the chord. So, but I'm doing the whole chord. So that, like I said, that's a good practice to do. All right. When we get to the 12th fret, we're in D chord at this point, so we're going to do a little single string lick here. All right. Very similar to Don does it all the time. We're just doing it down here on the neck. We're in the D-shaped, or the F-shaped D, rather. and we're on the 10th fret to the 12th, back to the 10th, 12th, 11th on the 3rd, and I'm actually hitting an open note there, back to the 11th fret, and then to the 12th fret on your 4th string. I probably left out some of that in there, but I think you can figure it out from watching here. But now that G note that I hit open on your 3rd string doesn't really harmonize, but when you're playing it fast, it's not going to matter. It's going to be a clipped little note in there. See what I mean? Okay, so so then we're going to come back to this D-shaped G. Just like before. And then we're going to go into your D chord again. Okay. Alright, so let me play that whole second part there. I'll do it from the little hop thing. Okay, so I missed that little single string lick there. It is a tricky little thing. That's probably the hardest part of the whole tune, is just that little lick. And a lot of times I'll do a different lick. I'll do his typical single string walk down. Like that. So that's pretty much the whole tune, because after that point, Don goes back into the first part. That whole first part. So he plays that right after the second half of it. So then he goes into pretty much the first part of the harmonics, how you started it out. Okay. Before we get to the ending harmonics, I want to show you a little thing here I like to do, a little variation on that hopping part in the beginning. This sounds really cool. I haven't heard him do it, but it just seems like something he would do. So here's a little variation on that. All right, you see what I'm doing there? It's different than... All right, what I'm doing is I'm adding that pull off in the first part. And I always thought that sounded pretty cool, and I think that was something he probably would do if he was jamming on it or whatever. But just adding that same forward roll, 5th, 2nd, and 1st, and I'm pulling off the 5th string or the 5th fret and holding that 3rd fret behind it. So just add a little something different to it. I think it sounds pretty cool. So this ending harmonic thing that Don does on the very end is just like the intro. It starts like the intro. Okay, that's exactly like the intro that we started with. But then he's going to go into the rest of it. So And I'm not going to go through and point out every note that I'm doing here, because I think it's pretty simple and pretty self-explanatory. That melody is probably very familiar to everybody. Everybody's heard that. So. Okay. So, and then at the end, he's basically playing taps, and we've all heard taps before too. So. And he's pinching he's actually, instead of going, where you can do it individual notes, he starts to pinch it. All right. So a lot of times most people don't pick up on that he's doing that. So he's pinching the fourth and third, and then the third and second, and then the second and first together. Then he hits that first strings more pronounced at the end of it. Okay, and it's really tricky to play if you don't have a guitar player with you. And I'm probably messing up a little bit on it actually, because it's really hard to play without having some sort of rhythm or bass or something to go along to keep it going. And it's something you really probably will have to teach your guitar player to listen to the original record to get the chord changes in there, because there are chord changes while I'm doing this. It doesn't slow down either. That's another thing. A lot of times when I play this, I start the whole taps thing, that whole thing there. And most tunes that have that in it, it starts to the tune slows down, but it doesn't slow down on this. It keeps going. The rhythm keeps going. Goes to a D chord, back to your G, C, back to G. Okay, so it's a little tricky. That harmonics thing is very simple, but it's kind of tricky. And I may be missing a little bit of it right there, but like I said, it's hard to get it sorted out without actually listening to the record and having somebody playing with you. But those are the basic notes. It's very simple. But yeah, that's Military 5-string, and it's a great tune to play any time of the year. It doesn't have to be 4th of July or Memorial Day or Veterans Day or whatever. I love this tune, and we used to play it every show that we did with my family band. And like I said, that whole album, Mr. 5-string, is incredible. So if you haven't heard it, go out and get it. And if you have any questions, as usual, just give me a holler, and I'll be glad to help.